Welcome to Mormon Book Reviews, where an evangelical encounters the restoration. I'm your host, Steven Pynakker, and I'm glad to have a very good friend of mine who's been on this show, been on here for how many times you've come on now, Matthew Gill? At least three, four times,
Three,
right?
four, yeah, four times. Yeah, yeah,
And actually, you made your North American debut on this program. We beat Rick
yeah,
Bennett by a few weeks or whatever on Gospel
yeah.
Tangents.
We
And
did. Yeah,
Matthew is one of the more interesting voices within the Restoration. He is the president, prophet, seer, and revelator of the restored branch of Jesus Christ, which is located in England. And you've been doing this. You've basically been doing this since around 2005. So I tell people Matthew Gill is here to stay because his ministry has actually lasted longer than Joseph Smith's has.
well, I haven't been shot yet, no, so I'm all
You
right.
haven't been shy yet, yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to have Matthew on is actually this is a really cool story. So Matthew, a while, it's probably been well over a year ago now, reached out to me because they were doing a fundraiser for to get their scriptures published. Now, this is the fifth edition of your scriptures, I believe,
That's
and
right. Yeah,
and it's called the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck, which I've talked extensively in my program, and even brought this up to Richard Bushman, and Bushman was intrigued by this book as well. And it purports to be the records of the people that built Stonehenge. And this is their records of their history. And these people actually are related to Book of Mormon peoples because they're related to the Jaredites. Is that correct, Matthew?
right. Yeah, yeah.
So you have basically Jaredites that have built Stonehenge is what these scriptures claim. And it's also the original plates that you got for the Book of Jeraneck were in the Adamic language. And you put this as the opening verse. And how do I know this is the opening verse of the scriptures? Because I had the characters document sent to me by Matthew. And basically, this is the opening statement. And he translated from the Adamic language, "My name is Jeraneck, son of Ishna, from the house of Ishna." And what an intriguing story, Matthew. And I think it's interesting that, basically you came on my program and you needed to raise some money for these scriptures to be completed. And I guess we were able to help you reach that level and be able to get them published. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, coming on Mormon Book Reviews really helped us to get to the crunch because, you know, when you're doing fundraisers, you get ups and downs, you get peaks and troughs with money coming in. And coming on your show, it enabled people to hear about what we were going to be doing and how we were going to be doing it. And we got some donations. And then I think I even said on your show, I think without coming on, we wouldn't have reached the target we reached. And yeah, we had quite a few donations. We reached our target amount that we wanted to reach that we had a quote for. And we didn't want to go above our target uh, amount because there was really no point. So yeah, I mean, Mormon Book Reviews played a huge role in getting us the money we needed, and thankfully, because we've produced I think we've produced a very good quality product for the money we raised.
Yes, and even my mom, right before we started taping, she opened the door to the studio and says, "Let him know this is one of those beautiful books I've ever seen." So when it just comes in a case, it has the Adamic language on there. Then you have the restored branch of Jesus Christ emblem on the back. Then on the front of the cover, is this a this? Tell us what this symbol means.
Okay, so yeah, so the front of the book is the oak tree,
Okay.
uh, and the reason the oak tree is on the front of the book is because well, it becomes apparent if you read the scriptures that the oak tree is a symbol to them of God's divine power. Because I don't know if anybody knows anything about history to do with Great Britain, but the oak tree is probably one of our oldest native trees. And it's always been important to different cultures who have inhabited this country. And we learn through the Chronicles that the people who inhabited the land then looked upon the oak tree as the physical embodiment of the creation of God. Um, because it gives seed, and the seed goes into the ground with the acorn, and the acorn gives life. Um, so I thought it would be appropriate to place that symbol on the front of the the new scriptures and surround it in a, I suppose you would probably call it a Celtic knot. Because what we say is that we're talking about a proto Celtic culture, that the Celts would have, after this civilization was destroyed and died away, the remnants would have come into a sort of Celtic culture. And if anybody knows anything about Celtic culture, there's a lot of weird stuff in their mythology. They talk about a time where the country was inhabited by, they call them the ancient ones, the golden ones, the renowned ones. And nobody knows what they're talking about. But we believe that the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck give us context to those things. That now we know who those renowned ones were, who those golden ones were, who those ancient ones were. So the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck talks. It is a history, obviously, of a people coming to Great Britain, but eventually, just like the Nephites and the Jaredites, dying away and giving way to a new culture. Because unlike the Americas, this island's always been inhabited by different peoples coming and going throughout its history. As far back as recorded history will go, there's always been somebody here of some caste or other. So that's what happened. The people in the Book of Jaredites or the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck, they died off and they gave way to a new culture. So yeah, I mean that's why we went for the oak tree.
Okay, so and just I just want to kind of actually talk a little bit more about the this has gold leaf on here, and the scriptures. The paper is the same type of paper that you would have in like a Bible or very similar in that sense. So it's much smaller than the original edition you sent me. It was much thicker because the pages were thicker. But
That's right.
also one of the first things I checked was to see if there would be illustrations, and by golly, there's illustrations in here too. Now, everybody knows my story about, at least for those of you who are been with this channel for a while, probably all know my story that it was the Arnold Freiberg paintings in the Book of Mormon that entranced me as an 8-year-old boy. And I think that any 8-year-old boy that would come across these paintings would probably be also very much intrigued by what they're seeing as well. So kudos, and I think it was your son that really pushed to get the illustrations in there. Is that correct?
Yeah, because we just take a little step back about the printing process for a minute, because once we'd raised this money, Steve, it was important to us that we got a printer, and I want to say again, without your a recommendation, we probably wouldn't have used this printer because you recommended them, because I think the Snuff Rights had used them to print some of their stuff.
Yeah.
So we wanted to bring people a good quality product for the money that we had. And going to this printer in India was fantastic because we just could not match the quality that you have in your hands here anywhere in England or in Europe. It was going to cost 10 times more money. And we weren't even going to get some of the things we have in this. The printer was fantastic. The service was excellent. I mean, they were always available to video chat and to talk. And we went through this with them step by step by step. I mean, it was a fantastic service, and we are going to use them again with another project we're going to work on. But we wanted to make sure that when people sat down to read this, they felt as if they're reading scripture. And although I've always said the Chronicles has always been scripture, people are really funny about what scripture really is and what it feels like. It's leather. It's the gilded pages. It's the thin paper. So we wanted to make sure we covered those bases, and we got 2 scripture markers, ribbon scripture markers as well. And my son said to me, because when I sent the initial product off of the printer, we didn't have the pictures in. And my son said to me, my eldest son Levi, you've really got to put the pictures in, because people are going to want to be able to visualize stuff, and we've got the pictures. Let's put them in. So it was decided that we would include all of the scenes that we've had done by our artists, but also and even the new stuff we've had, but also Levi's idea was to make sure there was a portrait of the prophet Jarenick in there, and also a portrait of Araneck and Jesus Christ. It was important we put these in, and it was important we included Jesus in this because this, for us, this is scripture, Steve. This is for us like holding a Book of Mormon or a Bible. And we've always said anybody who has read this knows that the people in here witness of Jesus Christ, so it's important we put that in there. But we are absolutely over the moon with this product. Now, I will say my wife worked very heavily on changing the layout of these scriptures. We did a lot of work on it. Now, I'm not saying that the product in your hand is absolutely bang on perfect, error free, because we don't have millions of dollars. We are a small family organization. We do all the work ourselves. But my wife put a lot of effort into making sure that this new layout was good, that we minimized all of the mistakes and errors in there. And I have to say, Vicky did a fantastic job. And everybody who's had it so far is over the moon with what they've received. So we're pleased with it. We know other people are pleased with it as well.
Yeah, and I just want to I just want to kind of the text itself is very readable.
Yeah.
So it's large enough. It's not all shrunk down. So it's a very accessible scripture. And I think that people would for people who are interested in the different manifestations of the restoration, different scriptures that are being produced by different groups, different records of ancient civilizations coming forth throughout the world, that they would be that this is an opportunity to engage one of those texts. And I know you've been doing this since 2005,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing story. I think you got on my radar screen probably in the late aughts sometime. And I've always been fascinated by your group, by your story and what you're doing, and you're here to stay. I tell people, said you ain't going anywhere.
No, 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 no. I mean, there'd be no point for us going anywhere. We have a mandate from the Lord, and that is to try and fill the earth with as many copies of this as we can. My biggest gripe, Steve, and I don't want to get negative on the show because it's all about positivity with the new book coming out. But my biggest gripe, I think, with the restoration as a whole is that we're continually being told that we are to look for new revelation, that new records will come forth. My my biggest gripe with the restoration is when, whether whether you believe in it or not, whenever something new comes forward, we're very, very quick to dismiss it. Very, very quick. It's either the work of a charlatan or it's the work of the devil. And we're very, very quick to dismiss new things. Um, I'm just very lucky that the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck uh, has excited people. Um, it's made people want to talk to us and come and get copies and explore it. And I'm very grateful for people who have come to me and contacted me and interfaced with me because these people have their hearts open. They're looking for new answers. They're looking for new things. But I'm afraid to say that not all of the restoration is that way inclined. I mean, I've often said this to my friends who are in the restoration. I think, um, if the Lord tomorrow suddenly gave us the sealed portion, I think you'd probably find a great deal of people writing it off before they've even read it. All I've ever said to people is, before you judge, at least, at least read it, at least interface with it, at least know the backstory to it, find out what it's about. Um, but that's my only problem with what's happening at the moment is we're very judgmental about anything new coming forward. I don't know why that is. I think it's because we're so invested in what we already have, the Book of Mormon. Um, we find it very hard to get over that hill, I think.
You, I think that it's so interesting because in the Book of Mormon it says a Bible. We've already got a Bible. Why do we need any more, right? And essentially, the claim that the Restoration makes is that it's anticipated that other records would come forth. So the criticisms that's directed towards other people that come up with other scriptures, to me, is it's not much different than the critics, the early critics were, and the current critics are of the Book of Mormon that just
Right.
easily dismiss it in much the same way.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think Christians can easily dismiss the Book of Mormon just because they really need to engage the text. Nor do I think that people who are part of the restoration should necessarily just immediately disregard these scriptures as well. I
Right.
mean, I think it's
Well, I've often said, there's that famous phrase. I think it's in Isaiah, isn't it? By their fruits ye shall know them. Well, if you're not prepared to even take a bite of the apple and see if it's delicious to taste, you're just going to toss it to the ground. Then you're not really living up to that scripture and that promise. And the Book of Mormon is all about the grafting on of other trees, and it's all about. I mean, there's a whole section in the Book of Jacob about it. And what we do, we tend to skip over these things because I think they can sometimes become uncomfortable for people. Because look, not everything that comes across your screen is going to be uh, worthy of attention. So I think we have to be careful, obviously, about stuff that comes about, but we have to be willing at least to engage with it and at least see if it's any good, at least try and taste it. If it tastes horrible, then obviously, yeah, spit it out and have nothing no more to do with it. Um, and there are plenty of examples of those type of things knocking about, but plenty of them. And there are many people who believe that same said for the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck. Um, there's the same amount of people who say that about the Book of Mormon. But
Mhm.
what I think, and I've discussed this many times with people in the restorations. I'm not trying to downplay the importance of the Book of Mormon because I really am not. But we tend to get really focused on the Book of Mormon, and we tend to get into that phrase of saying, "Well, we got the Book of Mormon, we don't need anything else." Well, that's not what the text says, unfortunately. Um, so my advice to people would be, uh, come and taste the fruit, see if it's nice. If you
Well,
like
what I
it,
want to do here,
then
actually, now that we're thinking of it, I want to see if I can get this to play real quick. I want to play the Richard Bushman clip. That
right.
about a year and a half ago, I had Richard Bushman on, and he talked about this when I asked him about the scripture. So let me bear with me, folks. See if I can make sure this is working. But let me click on this and let's.
I'm
Here
fascinated
we go.
by the idea of the coming forth of plates as well. And that just reminds me, I'm just thinking about this. This reminds me of David Gill's The Chronicles of the Children of Araneck. He claims to have translated plates about the people who built Stonehenge and that they were Jaredites or related to the Jaredites. He makes this audacious claim of plates as well. And he actually claimed to have been visited by the angel Moroni and was shown the original plates of the Book of Mormon. And I asked him, what did they look like? And does the characters document, is that an accurate representation? And he hedged a little bit. He said there are some similarities, but it's much more different than that. Would you deal with something like this and the claims made?
I can see I should have consulted you as I was writing this book, connecting up with things that are absolutely fascinating. I think we have to go with open hearts and minds and not being too evaluative. I don't think the first step is to say, are they true or not? I think the first step is to say, what is their message? And then the second step is, does this conform or does this join in messages that I want to promote?
I'm fascinated.
So I just thought, talk about high praise from one of the top scholars of Mormonism. I even thought to myself when I was interviewing him, do I dare bring these scriptures to him? And by golly, the beautiful thing about Richard Bushman is he's still a student. In his 90s, he's still interested in learning new things. Unlike a lot of people that kind of are stuck in their world and don't want to engage anything outside of their little box, he was definitely intrigued by the claims that you make and your scriptures.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
Well, that's all I want people to do. Really, is, and that's a great attitude to have. Look,
yep.
have a look, see if it challenges what you've already been taught. See if this is worthwhile. See if it's of any merit. And if you don't think it's of any merit, that's fine. I'm okay with that. If people read this and they really don't like it, or they think it is all of the devil, I'm okay with that. Take it, throw it in the trash. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's up to you. I'm not telling you because you buy a copy of this or you're given a copy of this, you've got to believe it. I mean, good grief! If you read it, you don't like it, and you think this is all a load of rubbish, that's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm not telling you you've got to believe in it. But what I am telling people is at least give it a try. At least listen to its central message. And I'm sorry, Steve, but I think people would be hard pressed to find anything in this scripture that goes against the grain of what they're already being taught about the nature of Jesus Christ and the nature of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I mean, obviously, we're talking about a people who lived a very long time ago and who didn't have the same type of relationship with the deity that we have today. I mean, we have so much material, Steve, and we have a very different relationship with God than even Joseph Smith had in the 1830s. So if you go in and talk about the Book of Mormon, and then you talk about before the Book of Mormon in the Jaredite time, these are people who had a very different understanding about the nature of the deity. I mean, don't forget, the Jaredites didn't even see a figure of Jesus Christ until the brother of Jared saw him in the cloud with the finger. And that was an amazement to him. He couldn't believe that Jesus Christ had a finger, let alone an entire body. So, the beauty of both of those records, the Book of Mormon, the Book of Ether, the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck, is they believed in the Almighty One of Heaven, as is called in the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck. They believe in Jesus Christ. They want to search for him. They're waiting and begging for the time when they can actually see this person in the flesh. So I see nothing in these scriptures personally that would lend people to think that it goes against the grain of what they've already been taught. But people are very fickle, aren't they? I mean, look how long it took Joseph Smith to be recognised as the person he is today, and there are still people today that think this guy was an absolute charlatan. You listen to Dan Vogel, and he would have you believe that Joseph Smith was an absolute liar, charlatan, con man. From everything I've read, I mean, I've read his recent book, There's Charisma of Joseph Smith, I have it on the library, and it's a fascinating work. I mean, it's an exceptional piece of work, without a doubt. But I don't agree with any of his findings about the story of Joseph Smith or the Book of Mormon, because it's brought so much meaning into my life and into my family's lives. And the same with the Chronicles. I know, Steve, that this has touched people's lives on a profound level. Profound level. Now, I see that as a very good thing.
So do you kind of offer people to kind of do like a Moroni's promise on this scripture and just
Yeah.
Have you had people do that
Right. I mean, I think a Moroni's promise is an exceptional piece of writing. I mean, there might be something similar in the Chronicles where I think Jaredites might say something similar to that. But I would say to people, yeah, do what Moroni says. At least do that. Read it, pray about it, and if you get a confirmation from the Spirit that this is something you need to pursue and you want to read, then you know where to come and you know where to find it. I don't want to tell people not to buy the books, but if you don't want to buy a hard copy, you can buy a PDF. I encourage people to buy a book. I think it's nice to have in their homes and on the bookcases, and it's a beautiful book. But if you don't want to buy the book, you can buy a PDF. It's on our website.
So I've got your website pulled up here, and of course you can for UK only 32.99. That's in pounds. Would that be correct? Right, you don't use euros, you use the pound there, right? So, and then
we do use a pound. Thank goodness. Yeah.
and for those of you in the United States, it's 52.99 pounds. What is that roughly in?
Yeah, that's mostly postage. So what we do instead of you paying like 30 quid and then chucking the post, we just include that with the price, so you haven't got to worry about the postage. You pay it, we cover that, You pay it and you'll get it delivered. So, but you know, to do us credit, that's pretty cheap.
Yes, it's
I
very
mean,
inexpensive. My goodness,
yeah, I mean,
the
you know,
Jimmy Swaggart in Louisiana has his own Bible printing shop, and so it's all, he has his own printer, and they charge easily a couple $100 for something like this. You know what I mean? I also want to point out, here's the PDF if you want to go with the PDF and review.
right,
Also, there's some images here from the branch from the scriptures,
yeah,
and this is the website restoredbranch.com. And you can not only go to the branch store, but you can also learn about the history of the church and this purported the ancient scripture tells us about the people who built Stonehenge and gives us their background, and it's really interesting. So check out the website restoredbranch.com, and I will have a link in the description to it as well. And I was there anything else you wanted to talk about this?
yeah. I mean, you'll notice in the back of the book, and we have talked about this a little bit. Is some artwork now?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we have been involved in producing artwork for the Chronicles since we started back in 2005, 2006. But we, it's a gradual process of finding the right artist to bring out what you want to bring out. And we found a fantastic artist, Matthew Klaus DeWitt at Matthew DeWitt Illustrations. He's a phenomenal talent, really, really. I know he does everything. He doesn't just work for us. He's a phenomenal artist in his own right, and he produces some fantastic art. So we have the scenes in the back of the book that we've had done through Matthew, and he's also done some portraits of some of the key characters which you just highlighted on the website. So those are all for sale on the website. You can order copies and we can send them out to you. But my son Levi is involved in a project at the moment.
Yes. I wanted you to talk about this. Let's preview the future project that's going to be coming forth from your church. Your son is spearheading this, and you actually wanted to preview some artwork that's being produced for this new document. Did you want to? I've enabled share screen if you want to share some of those pictures.
Okay, so before I do that, I just want to give people a mini background on what this book is going to be. It's going to be an art of book. So it enables people, whilst they're reading the scriptures, although there are pictures in the back of the scriptures, it enables people to be able to open this other book and see. We're not just doing artists. We're going to go out to Stonehenge. We're going to take some pictures of the Stonehenge landscape, of the burial mounds all around there. We're going to go to a place not far from where I live called Arbor Low, which is another stone's circle or henge. It has a burial mound there. I have done a video on this before, but we're going to go up there and take some photos of that. So not only is it going to be artists' renditions of places and people, there's going to be real life landscape pictures in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to explain the story through picture in this new book. It's being spearheaded by my son, who, by the way, is at university at the moment doing a course on this type of stuff, computer gaming and everything. So this is right down his street. But he's spearheading this, and he's commissioned, not me, he has commissioned some brand new pictures that I'm going to share two of with you now. So let me see if I can work this out without.
Yeah, this is exciting. And we're going to have
So
Levi on to come on to talk about that down the road. He's asked, and of course, he's more than you guys are always welcome to come on my platform to discuss the latest developments in your movement. Okay, I got it up on the screen here. What are we looking at
yeah,
here?
so let me just see if I can do that. Yeah, so this is a picture of Jarenick in his full glory. Obviously, this is an artist's interpretation of the text. Okay, but Levi has gone for fine pencil, black and white pictures for these. I think in total there's about 18 pictures he's commissioned. So there's a fair few we haven't done. But this is Jarenick in his full glory with his house symbol or sigil in the top left-hand corner. He's holding a scroll, and he's just he's in all of his pomp and glory. And another one for you. This is a completely brand new character. We've never actually had one of this character done before. Now I know it looks a bit gruesome because he's meant to. This is a character called Brennus in the Chronicles of the Children of Araneck. He is the commander of the king's forces during the interregnum, and he's not a nice guy. He's a veteran of lots of wars in lots of different places, which the artist has tried to illustrate here with his sword and with his costume. As I say, these are all artists' impressions, but they're taken from the text itself. Okay. So it gives you an idea of what the text is saying about these people. The beauty, I'll just stop sharing that now. The beauty of these pictures that Levi has commissioned is that he's chosen characters that some characters that we've never had done before.
Okay, yeah.
For instance, we're having, because I've seen the list, we're having one of Jaredites' wife that we've never had done before. We're having one of a priestess that is spoken of in the story called The Three Righteous Brothers. She's never been done before. Levi really wanted to highlight the role that women also play in our scriptures, because they do play a very, very big role. And so we're having a lot of new characters. They're all going to be in this fine black and white penciled style we've never had done before. And the idea is to get I think it's about 18 he's having done. Put these in a book, put some text in there to explain to people what they are and who they are, and marry these up with real life images of real life places you can come to the UK and go to and see. And we're going to give you context to what we think those places are. Levi is looking to have this done by the end of the year.
Okay.
So hopefully, once
and just
we're gonna
real quickly, is it the same artist that did the illustrations?
Yeah,
previous?
Matthew Klaus DeWitt. Yeah, he's our go-to artist on everything.
Okay. If you don't mind, Matthew, maybe you could send me a link to his website, and I could put that in the description if he's got one.
I can give you a link to his Facebook page, which has all his art in. In fact, what he does is he puts our art on his Facebook page. This is a commission I've had. This is what we're going to do.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'll give you his Facebook page because all of his art is on there. We for the quality he gives us and for the portrayals he's given us, it's fantastic work. And we like our relationship with Matthew, and we like the product he's giving us. And we're very excited. Well, I know Levi's very excited about this new project, and I know he's expressed a wish to come and talk to you about it once it's finished. We're going to be using the same printer that we used for the scriptures too, so we know it's going to be a quality product, and we're very excited about that.
Well, I think it's great. I think really when you think about it, you have scriptures that you can actually go to verifiable places that exist. There's no Heartlander model or Mesoamerican model debates between happening with your scriptures. You put them in actual places that people can go to.
Yeah, I mean, if you came to the UK, Steve, I could take you to the temple on the plains of Shinar, which is Stonehenge. I could take you there. I can take you to the burial mounds that surround Stonehenge. And I can say to you, because this is what I believe, this is where people from the Chronicles are buried. I can take you 15 minutes from my home, Steve, in a car, and take you to the lands of Ridnon. I can take you there and I can show you the exact places and the valleys. Unlike the Book of Mormon, there's no debate. We know exactly where these places are. And you can go and see them. Now, we're excited about that, which is why Levi wants to put them in this new book, because they're real places you can go and visit. You can go to Arbor, 15 minutes from my home, and you can touch a stone, Steve, that was laid by these people. You can stand on top of a burial mound that has these people in. You could do that. You could do that in the Heartland model too. But there's a debate, because there always is. But there's no debate here. There's no debate. It's exactly where they're. When I take you to Stonehenge and I say that's where the temple was, you can see that's where it was.
Well,
That's exciting.
Yep, and just real quick, folks, I'm going to share once again just on the screen here. This is the website. It's the Restored Branch of Jesus Christ. Matthew is the prophet, seer, and revelator. You can go to the branch store and you can purchase these scriptures, also including these. You could also purchase these stunning images from. We actually did an episode a while back, Matthew, where we went through all these images and you kind of gave the story about them, and that was a fun
Yeah.
episode, and I know people really enjoyed it. And so we appreciate Matthew. I appreciate my friendship with you, especially with my health issues that happened over the course of the last year. I now have a chronic medical condition like you do, and I've learned a lot about your condition over the course of knowing you and the struggles that we have at times. How you doing right now?
Well, today's a good day.
Good.
Today's a good day. I woke up this morning feeling better. But I'll be honest with you and to your viewers. Last year was a very, very hard time for me and my family with my health. I had the worst year I've ever had last year. The start of this year hasn't been great, which is why we released the statement we released in January about changes that we're going to be making going forward, that we're going to be concentrating more on the Chronicles, that we're going to be more Chronicles focused, that I probably won't be seen as much as I was on videos. My father and my son will probably do more of those things because anybody with a chronic illness will tell you, you just don't know what days are going to be good and what days are going to be bad. Thankfully, today is a good day, and I'm able to be here with you and the viewers and talk about the Chronicles, and that's a really good day. I feel really good about that. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but it's tough, really, really tough. But my family are extremely supportive. I have I don't want to get too emotional. I have a fantastic wife who supports me and loves me and has helped me a lot. And I wouldn't be here today without her. And my children, fantastic. My son Levi has shouldered his responsibilities and he's extremely involved in what we do in the branch. And I'm just very lucky to have parents who love and support me, not just from afar, but up close. My dad is here today, just in case anything happened while we were doing this recording. And that's the type of support I have, and I'm very, very lucky, very, very, very lucky, very blessed, very blessed.
Yeah, just to being in communication with Matthew over the last couple of weeks, it's been kind of touch and go whether he'd even be able to do this interview. And we even had, like you said, had Dad on standby in case anything happened. Dad, thanks for all you do. And Levi, and your dad is in the first presidency, and Levi's in. What's your father's name? Off the top of my head, I don't remember it.
That's right. They're both in the first presidency. So my dad's second elder, my son Levi is third elder. And I mean, without them, Steve, we couldn't do the. We couldn't do the. I mean, the restored branch is a very small branch,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's difficult sometimes for people who live in the United States to understand how difficult it is outside the United States, especially in Europe right now. Because I'll be honest with you, it's a wilderness, it's a desert in Europe for religion right now. But we are a very small organisation, mostly family. We do have people who are affiliated with us in the United States who follow us very closely and who I talk to every day and every week. And we are so thankful for their love and their support. But without my family, Steve, supporting what we do, it would just be impossible for us to do this well. I mean, as I said, my wife Vicky, she poured her heart and soul into getting this document into a position where we could produce it, change it, make it nice, and everybody's played a part here, from my dad to my wife to my kids, and they all do it willingly, and I'm just very grateful for their love and support. And as I say, I'm a very blessed man, and I'm indeed grateful. And I can't play down either the importance. And I've said it every time on your show, and I'm not doing it to butter you up in any way. But Mormon book reviews I followed for a long time, and I think the space you create within the restoration is really needed and really necessary, because people like me, because we're so small, you find it difficult to get an audience and people to listen to you and to talk to you. And there's no doubt that Mormon book reviews have played a major important role in our ministry. It helped us get to our fundraiser level. It brought people in, got people interested in the Chronicles, and I hope that your health can, you can continue to do what you're doing, because I think it's an important space for us to have.
Well, thank you, Matthew. I really appreciate it. And this has been a difficult time. And thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate people when they tell me they appreciate what we're doing. It means a lot. And I'm always humbled by it. And by the way, so Vicky is your wife. She helped. Your son Levi's hands-on in this. And
Yep.
I didn't catch your father's name. What is your dad's name?
Philip.
Okay, Philip. Okay, Philip Gill.
Yep.
And you're going to be seeing more of Levi and Philip for those of you who are going to be attending services online. They'll be
Right.
more front and center during
Yeah.
this period of time where you're kind of working on focusing on your health.
Right. I mean, when I am able to get in front of the camera, I will do so. But the majority of the time, it will be my dad and my son, and I think that's important for an organisation. You don't just want to have the one guy on all the time,
Mhm.
And they're capable. My son has been recording services since he was a child, since he was 8. I mean, he's been in front of a camera doing this type of stuff for a long, long time. So he's no stranger to doing it, and he's very capable. My dad's the same, and why not share the love a little bit? Let them take some of the glory for a little bit. So yeah, but Levi, I can't stress this enough. Levi's new project is going to be fantastic, and I know he's really looking forward to sharing it with
Well,
us.
we're looking forward to having him on to come on. This is great. He's and I see pictures of you guys, and I can tell he takes after you very much. And I want to say I really do appreciate our friendship. I'm glad you had a good day today. I am so grateful that you're able to do this and take the time to film with us and share your story. Uh, Matthew Gill, thanks for coming on the program today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Steve.
So we're going to have links to everything in the description, including the website in which you can actually purchase these scriptures. Also, for those of you who like to financially support our channel, there will be links in the description there. For those of you who do support us financially, couldn't do this without you. Greatly appreciate it. And remember, the most important thing is this: all the voices of the restoration will be heard here on Mormon Book Reviews.